Today, we're jumping into a really powerful idea that comes from the LPot community, a group that's all about normalizing loneliness and those quieter seasons of life. Their whole message is actually super liberating, especially in the world we live in today. And it's this: you're not missing out.
You know that feeling, right? We've all been there. You're scrolling through your phone and it feels like everyone you know is out. They're busy. They're having the time of their lives. And that little voice just creeps in and starts asking, am I doing enough? Am I falling behind?
And look, that feeling, it's fueled by a message we get pounded with every single day. It's a simple one, and it's relentless. More is always, always better. But is it really?
That thought leads us right into our first section here, the pressure to be seen. This is all about that unspoken cultural rule that to have a life that matters, it has to be a visible one, a busy one. This obsession with more is literally everywhere. Our culture basically equates a successful life with a packed calendar. You know, more friends to tag, more fun to post about, more updates to share, more events to be seen at. So when your life doesn't look like that on the outside, it is so easy to feel like you're doing something wrong. But what if that's not the whole story? I mean, what if there's another way to look at it? This is exactly where the LPot community offers this really powerful reframe for seeing those quiet seasons of life. And the reframe is actually pretty simple, but it is so profound. So on the left, you've got the world's perspective. Missing out feels like you're constantly chasing something, always performing for an audience, just living in all this noise. But on the right, that's the reality of what's probably happening. You're not chasing, you're reconnecting. You're not performing, you're healing. You are literally trading noise for peace.
This quote just puts it perfectly. When you decide to step back from the world's crazy pace, you're not losing parts of yourself. No way. You're actually gathering them. You're becoming whole.
So how do you even know if this is you? How do you know if you're on this journey? Well, the source material gives us some pretty tangible clues. Let's dig into the signs that you're not falling behind, you're actually finding yourself. Just take a look at these for a second. Do any of them kind of hit home? Maybe those quiet moments that once felt so empty and awkward now feel, restorative? Maybe you just don't feel that need to justify staying in on a Friday night anymore. Setting boundaries, asking those real questions about your life, finding joy in less, these are not signs of failure. These are signs of some serious, profound inner growth. So when you think about it, maybe that whole feeling of missing out is just an illusion. Maybe it just means you finally turned down the volume on everyone else's expectations, and that's allowing you to finally tune into your own needs, your own voice, your own truth.
Okay, so this all sounds great, right? But how do we actually do it? How do we put it into practice? Let's look at some actionable advice from the LPot community on how you can really start to cultivate this mindset and embrace that stillness.
Okay, so the process really starts with these 4 key steps. First, reframe the narrative. That's changing your inner story. Second, choose solitude over noise, seeing it as a healing thing. Third, build a daily connection with yourself. And fourth, focus on becoming, which is all about embracing the journey. Let's take a closer look at those first 2 because they're absolutely crucial for building this new mindset.
Step 1 is all about what's going on inside your head, your internal monologue. Because we all know comparison is the thief of joy and clarity. The goal is to catch it and replace it. The second you catch yourself thinking, everyone else is doing so much more, you have to consciously reframe that to, right now, I'm doing what's right for me. It's a total act of self-empowerment. And then step 2 is all about your intention. Deciding to be alone isn't about escaping or giving up, not at all. It's a proactive choice. You're choosing solitude as a kind of sanctuary, a space where you can actually heal and recharge, away from all the demands and the noise of the outside world. So what's the end game here? What happens when you really commit to this path? What's the big payoff for all this inner work? Well, that brings us to our final section, the freedom of self-discovery. And trust me, the payoff is huge. You start to reclaim who you are from other people's expectations. You realize that your own happiness is totally valid, even if nobody sees it or likes it online. You start building a life that feels so authentic that you don't feel like you need to constantly escape from it. And, maybe most importantly, you finally arrive at this incredible realization that you are, and you always have been, enough.
I love this metaphor. It just perfectly sums up the whole journey. You weren't late to the party, you weren't uninvited, you were just busy with a way more important project, building a deep, real, and beautiful relationship with yourself.
So the final message here is a really simple one. Just let this sink in for a second. In a world that is screaming at you to go faster, do more, be louder, it is profoundly, absolutely okay to just be still.
And that's the question I really want to leave you with. In all those quiet moments that the world tells you that you need to fill, what kind of power, what clarity, what incredible peace could you find if you just gave yourself permission to stop and to listen?